I believe in the subconscious. That's why it's paramount to study one's dreams, to get closer to oneself when nobody is around. You'll find anything repressed lives there in spades. For the westernized world, the natural state of sexual desire is demonized, which explains the fixation on hiding yourself to the extent that you mutate and truly become grotesque, having partially grown in the dark where the light refuses to touch. Splitting yourself into these two half-formed things, acceptable and unacceptable, becoming the embodiment of duality. The more free-flowing and all-encompassing your sexuality is, the more you allow it to participate in your wholeness, the more innocent it manifests because you nurture it. The more hidden, stifled, restricted, and atrophied, the more perversion manifests. Romy, a high-powered CEO of a tech company married to her husband Jacob, whom she has faked orgasm with in every instance involving him for the past 19 years, is constantly using bed sheets as a shield, showing us that she can't fully open up to her husband, and when she tries, it's through a veil. He can't speak her language due to his negligence and her fear, and so she's left dissatisfied. As she is walking on the street outside of her office building, an unknown dog is loose from her owner and is about to charge into an extremely frightened Romy. Enter Samuel, who easily redirects the dog before Romy experiences impact, demonstrating his mastery in taming erratic behavior. He was able to see that the barking dog was just afraid, being separated from his owner, and was acting out in rage because of that fear. It's one of the first things she asks him.
How'd you get that dog to calm down?
To which he responds,
I gave it a cookie.
and then later asks,
Why, do you want one?
like he knows something about her and is testing out a theory. Like he can read her.
We're hungry personalities?
You think that's what I am?
No. No. I think the opposite.
You think I don't like power?
I think you like to be told what to do.
This analogy of Romy to the dog is brought up time and time again throughout. When she obeys him by meeting him at a motel and then attempts to flee, changing her mind, he doesn't allow her to leave, putting her in a corner and demanding she get on all fours, simulating a canine he has dominion over.
Go back?
She is so terrified when Samuel has her on the dirty motel carpet that she genuinely fears she is about to pee, pleading with him to stop so she doesn't wet herself, and he doesn't stop, and the result is she squirts, a foreign concept to her. He is beautifully tapped into both his outer masculine and inner feminine nature, that he has the ability to understand and execute purely without brushing up against shame or disgust. He analyzes her, scans for her needs, and is fulfilling them in his own way, no matter how silly some things he does seem. He's playing out her deep desires to the best of his ability, and there is a nobleness to that.
I thought what we were doing was like, you know, in my mind, I see it as this thing where we're like, you know, we're two children playing.
To enter the second stage of being, oscillating between rage and the rewinding of her restrictions to the severity present in the beginning. For example, she bursts open when Jacob, her husband, tries to touch her, admitting that she's been faking orgasm this whole time, and then in the morning she backpedals and says she was just upset and was lying. Following being nearly caught in a lover's quarrel, a glass loudly shatters, showing she can't really put Pandora back in the box. This heroine is in this awkward stage of growing pains, resulting in the dynamics between her and Samuel seeming very gray to the viewer. There is a moment when Samuel asks if they should have a safe word, and her response is Jacob, her husband, which is very telling, indicating that her husband is a safe prison or refuge amongst the previously immaterial darkness she has inside of her. Jacob is useful as the present father of her children and also the jailer who polices her from experiencing herself. Jacob is the man who kisses the shield, and Samuel is the boy who inhabits her true nature. At this moment, I started to understand that she needs this to continue on a deep psyche level.
I think I'm a bad person.
Oh, I think you're a lovely person. And I think you know things, you sense things about people, what they want, what they need.
She is now fully immersed in the second stage. She is under strobe lights in the club and is aimlessly moving throughout, searching when a young woman gently cradles her, tilts her head back, pouring an open plastic bottle with clear liquid down her throat, her face like a child as she is directed to kiss the woman and easily obeys. Like clay. This imagery shows she's in a state of being so lost and uninhibited, so moldable. It captures the change from the beginning where she craved submission but offered it to no one, and now she is in a state so malleable, so potent that a stranger can manipulate her movements. It all comes to a head when her assistant Esme reveals the knowledge of the affair. Now she has to expose herself to her husband, which she has failed to do for 19 years. He does not take it well, calling her needs banal sexual desires, expressing to Samuel his disgust in her.
She abused you. You know that, right? Humiliation, submission, domination, whatever you want to call it. It's just neurotic, right? Female masochism is nothing but a male fantasy, it's a male construct.
No, you're wrong. That's a dated idea.
Dated idea?
Yeah, it's a dated idea of sexuality.
This male admonishment from Samuel causes Jacob to start tweaking out, even falling to the ground, representing the first transition of his we've seen. And with a surprisingly gentle door shut, Samuel, the young man who could read her, who was neither dismissive nor afraid of her, is gone, and our heroine Romy is forced to transition into this different state. Oneness. She apologizes to Jacob, who is ready to receive it, saying, I told you I was someone else and that I got angry when you didn't know who I really was. And I'm so sorry, it's my problem, showing she is taking accountability for the situation. She no longer feels sorry for herself, and so she is no longer destructive to those around her. At the end of the film, she brushes up against society one more time in a chauvinistic male coworker who thinks that she's just available for a free ride because she's been with Samuel and he's gotten wind of it. Only she's different now, though.
Why don't you fuck off, Sebastian? No, I don't give a shit. Just don't ever talk to me like that again. If I want to be humiliated, I'm gonna pay someone to do it.
In her third transformation, she is no longer resigned to that oppressive duality or hiding her sexual nature from herself. Free from the perversion of secrecy, long gone is the hidden afraid feminine principle, she has progressed past her extremely malleable state from the second stage and is now in the third stage of self-actualization. In Freudian terms, Her psyche has traveled through the ego, the id, and the superego, the whole woman. She has mastery over herself at last. And as for Jacob, well, he finally learned to see her, and so she comes for him. For real this time. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I tried my best. There was a lot of different ways to interpret this film, like any film. I just chose this specific route, and I wanted to be concise and not move around too much from the point. But there was so much imagery, and you could have taken a different stance on it too. I liked it. Um, it was different for sure. Okay, bye. Thank you.